Hello, I'm Andreas, drinking some coffee. And of course, the matter of discussion is the new Claude Sonnet 4.6, and also some of the shady stuff that, well, Anthropic is doing. First of all, we had a discussion about Claude Code and what you can use it for, the subscription, I mean, so the OAuth, and of course, what we can use it for in the end. They subsidize, by the way, if you didn't know that, which is rather important for you to know, they subsidize the usage of their Codex, their models for coding use, so they can learn from what you build, obviously. There's no other reason for it. And to improve their products, of course. And so, just to let you know, $20 or euros brings you about 160, 130 odd dollars or euros, whatever currency you're working with, of inference. About $100, which is like the first max plan, the times 5, brings you about, which costs about 100, brings you about 1,300 of usage. And the 200, the top tier subscription, which costs 200, brings you about 2,600 of inference for your money, which is, of course, very important. It's very nice. It doesn't really run out if you use it in a normal way. But what's new is that you cannot use it even with their SDK, even though the SDK supposedly was approved for usage. Depends on how. This wrapper, this situation with the wrappers of the inference you're buying with your subscription is rather shady, I would say. And they should really clarify what's allowed and what's not, so people do not get banned. Anyone who has used it programmatically via scripting or something like that, which is supposedly an allowed kind of usage, because you can call Claude Code with a -p flag and just give it some commands and parse something. If you don't use it locally on your local machine where you also do the rest of your work, it's probably going to get you banned, because it's supposed to be something personal and you can supposedly share it with some other people and therefore take advantage of this pricing. And so they ban people, they do shady stuff like that. So be very careful on how you use your subscription with the OAuth model. I would suggest to really have a look on their latest policies. If there's something new, I will tell you about it. And at the same time, I'm going to inform you about Sonnet 4.6, which of course is the latest and greatest. We were supposedly getting version 5, probably coming along nicely. Maybe it's not production ready yet, but it will be at some point. For now, we get Sonnet 4.6, which supposedly is almost as good as Opus 4.6, and it costs half the money for inference. I think it's 5 and 25 for Opus per million token in and out, and via the API. And if you use Sonnet 4.6, it's 3 and 15, so almost half the money. The problem with it is, though, that because it's so much smarter, this smartness comes from more reasoning tokens. And that brings the price about 20% lower than using Opus itself. I don't know if it's really important. It is on some cases, and in some it isn't. If you have reusability of tokens and stuff like that, or if it doesn't need so much reasoning, maybe it's beneficial to use Sonnet. Otherwise, it's almost as using Opus. Of course, if you use the Claude Code, the original wrapper and stuff like that, you can see that they have separate limits for Opus, so maybe it is better to use Sonnet anyways. That was the information about this new release. Also, be very, very careful with your OAuth for Claude. The Anthropic model is ban and then discuss, which their support is like overwhelmed. So I don't think it will be a quick solution if you get banned, if at all. Who knows? And if you're doing something shady with it, maybe you shouldn't even try it. For now, OpenAI is a better candidate for usage outside their own wrappers with Codex. So maybe give that a try if you're using OpenClaw or anything like that. That's my advice for you. See you in the next video. I'm Andres from Almost Tech.